Hello and welcome, beloveds, to the Dr. Mumbi Show. My name is Dr. Mumbi Saraki. How are you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray that you are well. In all your ways, and that you are moving into living life truly on your own terms, the true life that you set out to live, and having the experiences that you set out to have, on this human life. But these are definitely stories for other days. I want to thank every single person that supports us on our Patreon and our PayPal accounts. We appreciate love each and every one of you so much. And we have made the Freedom Song available. We will be sending out the Freedom Song possibly today to all our PayPal supporters as well. But if you're a Patreon, part of our Patreon family, it's right there on one of the, in the published section. Now, a very interesting story coming out of Ghana, and this just confirms to you how much influence and power, actually, let me even call it power, that we get when we stand up to the powers that be, to the government, and defend our heritage, our land, our forests, our women, our men, everything, our children. And this is exactly what's happened in Ghana, where activists are actually suing the government to save a forest from a Chinese mine. And what happened is that environmental activists have actually sued the Ghanaian government to stop a proposed mining project between the Ghanaian government and a Chinese mining firm that is worth $2 billion. Although money ain't nothing now. It's paper. It's monopoly. We should look at money like monopoly. They're giving you paper and they're taking what really matters. And this deal, first of all, even sounds so wrong. So now the project, the proposed mine is supposed to happen in a protected national forest, and you know how the Chinese don't respect even their own environment. I don't know if you've been watching. There's been crazy floods and all kinds of natural things, natural disasters happening in China. All is not well in China, beloveds. I'll definitely do a show on that because I always feel like, well, China, but since there's so much in our business, it's good for us to keep an eye out on what's happening there. But basically, we know that China doesn't really respect the environment. And sadly, Ghana is one of the countries they experienced a 60% rise in primary forest loss in 2 years between 2017 and 2018. And this was the highest in any tropical country, according to the US-based Global Forest Watch. And in fact, the activists have not just started this campaign now. They have been fighting back and forth with the government. But the proposed mine is supposed to take place in a place called Atewa Range Forest. And you know what? So the Chinese are going to get access to bauxite, which is used to make aluminium. And in exchange, they're going to finance infrastructure projects such as roads and bridges in Ghana. Why can't people use their own engineers? And then you source that bauxite for yourselves, sell it on the international market, and then get the best of the best engineers, planners to come build you your roads and your bridges and everything. I mean, China, you should be watching that. And I don't want to get too much into it, but with the floods, so many of their bridges and their dams have collapsed. I think millions and millions of people have been affected. And these are the people that you're trusting to come build your bridges and your roads in return for such a special metal like bauxite, which is worth so much on the international market. And, several local advocacy groups, they came together. And this is what we need to be doing, beloveds. Hey, let me just tell you guys a story. So, several local advocacy groups came together and for citizens, and they launched, they've sued the government, and they claim that mining in the forest violates their constitutional rights to a clean and healthy environment and their right to protect it for future generations. That's what their lawyer said last week. One of them said, the forest is our life. He goes by the name of Oteng Adjei. He's the head of Concerned Citizens of Atewa Landscape, which is one of the groups involved in the case. And the case actually went all the way to the High Court on July 1st, according to documents that were seen by the people who wrote this article, Thomas Reuters Foundation. And, they said, bauxite mining is a one-time payment. The government cannot bring back a forest. And this is actually an indigenous forest that has many medicinal plants, etc., etc. And President Nana Akufo-Addo had previously said that bauxite can be extracted without disturbing the wildlife, but this is a huge fat lie that, the Ghana Integrated Aluminium Development Corporation, they had tried to promise that this will also create 35,000 jobs, but, it's all gibberish just to get that money. But then the aluminium doesn't end up helping the people because you're signing deals where they get this special thing and then they're just building you a road and anyway, let me know what you think. And what this article was saying is that there's a massive shift across the African continent, and this is what I love, where people are actually coming out. Local groups are becoming increasingly emboldened to actually take their governments to court, to take foreign mining companies to court, to pursue grievances against mining companies, which we've never seen before. And they're the ones who are kind of holding the governments in check, and helping the government to balance the governments between this need to boost growth, get jobs, create more people who will vote for you, with maintaining the dwindling forest cover. Anyway, we'll see what's happened because the campaigners want it to be turned into a national park. But bulldozers have already begun clearing paths in the forest, and activists and residents, they've been campaigning, as I said, since 2017. They even had an online petition that received 30,000 signatures, but so far that has not been enough to stop the government. And, someone called Daryl Bosu, he said it's unfortunate that time and again citizens have to fight our own government before we can secure our environment. And fight we must, beloveds. Fight we must. Because we are in a dangerous race between the greed and, pillaging of our puppet leaders and the awakening and education of our people. But we are looking at this thing from the side of victory. Until next time, tuko pamoja. A lot of you requested it, and the new Freedom song from the Dr. Mumbi Show is now available on iTunes, Spotify. Motivate yourself, uplift yourself, big up yourself, because truly we are in the season of our freedom. Purchase the song today.